Okay, stay tuned. So, what we've got coming up is really like a part two, and it's part three if you want to go there with us for a summer series on content creation that is co hosted by myself and my summer intern, Hope, who is here with me from Iowa State University. Well, here virtually, but feels like here. Too bad it's not here. Would be great. But this is all about content creation. And there are a lot of mistakes that health, wellness, or fitness professionals make that can keep you hidden from the people that you serve. And so you're robbing them of working with you and keeping yourself from being as profitable and having as lucrative a business as you could. So in this episode, myself, Debra Atkinson, and Hope discuss the critical aspects of content creation and the common mistakes that can hinder success as a health fitness professional. From understanding your audience to the importance of SEO, all of those things are important. But we're going to get down to the real nitty gritty and the real super simple mistake you're making. And I'll give you a spoiler alert. Here it is. Starting with social media is a mistake. That's the first place your clients meet you, but that's the last thing that you should be thinking about. If I got your attention, stay with us. I'm going to spill the beans in this episode, and we're keeping it super short today. Before we dive in, though, I'm Debra Atkinson. I'm the founder of Flipping 50. You're listening to She Means Fitness Business, where we pull back the curtain to what we've done to build Flipping 50, how we've done it, and how we keep growing because things have changed. Pre-pandemic to pandemic to post-pandemic, we've got to stay on our toes because it's constantly changing. And although more and more women are moving into menopause and learning about the distinction and the need for trained experts in midlife and menopause fitness, it means it's also harder to get their attention because there are more and more people vying for it. So we can't make mistakes here. And I know if you know the training, you have the practical skills, and you have the heart to help somebody, you want to, but can be really frustrating. And I know because I was there. And even though I was there on a meta level, working with fitness and health pros, teaching them marketing and sales in a way that wasn't sleazy, salesy, but was full of integrity for the longest time. And then I quit my job, had a bit of a midlife crisis, highly recommended now that I'm through the other side. But I had to start over at 49 from zero revenue coming in to six-figure months. And so can you. And look, I made a lot of mistakes along the way that you don't have to if you hang around just a little while. And let me tell you how to prevent them and how to make the most use out of your time, money, and energy. Because let's face it, you're going to invest all three in building a career and you can catapult it. But there are not the kind of shortcuts I think that we all tend to look for too often. There are shortcuts that are, here's a shortcut to rolling up your sleeves so that the work you do actually pays off the most. I don't believe that you're never going to work a day in your life if you love what you do. I think you're going to work really hard. But when you wake up with a purpose, you don't mind it so much. Okay, so to get a quick start, I want you to go to fitnessmarketingmastery.com/scorecard and get a business scorecard so you can self-assess, what am I doing right? Where do I need a little bit more support closing gaps that are getting in the way of me having the success that I want to and reaching the clients that I know that I can help. We're going to cover a lot of ground in this episode, even though it's short. So pay close attention. Hey, Hope, we're back.
Hello.
All right. So in this one, and by the way, if you didn't listen to the last episode and then that episode, I tell you to go and listen to the one before it. This is a series with Hope, who is my summer intern. So I don't know already what I'm going to do when she's gone. I'm going to miss her, but we are doing some coaching with her because as she came into this internship, we talked about some of the things that would be really valuable for her to learn. And parts of these things are things that I also teach to you health, wellness, fitness professionals. So we're kind of doing some coaching here and allowing you to sit in on the coaching for the benefit of everybody. For me as a teacher and a leader, hopefully getting better every time I do it. For Hope, learning it maybe for the first time in the real world, though she's probably more adept in social media than many of us are or were. And for all of you who are listening over the fence, this is for you too. So this title, Content Creation Mistakes That Most Health Fitness Professionals Make and How to Avoid Them, is one I've tapped into before, but it bears repeating because I still see this. And I know that there are very capable health fitness professionals who have something to share with the people that they can serve that you're going to get stopped. You're going to run into a brick wall if you're making these mistakes. And I want to not rob the people that you can help from you. And I want to help you get more revenue, more clients, and more stability, in your life where your business is concerned. So you have the freedom that you want. So in this episode, what I want to talk about is what happens. So I hope I'm going to ask you something. If you were going to create your first ever social media post, so let's say I said to you, by next week, I need you to have that Instagram account created, and I want you to show me your first post. How would you decide what to post? That very first one.
I definitely look at, first of all, what clients I'm trying to reach, and basing it off of that. So if I'm trying to reach athletes, then I want to focus more on a younger population and what's going to catch their eye. And then also, what is their goal? What are they training for? So as I've said in previous episodes, a lot of functional and plyometric training along with strength, power, and speed. So just first of all, giving a little bit of a background, letting them know I know what some of these athletes go through and what kind of things that they might face and what their goals are and some of the kinks in the road, and just giving them a little introduction of who I am, what my philosophy or goals are going to be, and then giving a little intro of just kind of what it's going to look like for them.
Sweet. And so if you listened to the episode prior to this, everybody, Hope did a great job. She just recapped it, really. So tapping into the needs, the wants, the desires, the fears of her audience for the creation of the content. And Hope, let me ask you this. Do you have a website?
I don't have a website yet.
Exactly. So if you're listening and you have a website or you have a podcast, my guess is if you have a podcast, you have a website, or if you have a thriving YouTube channel, which is not a website, but it is a search engine. These are pillar kinds of content. And that's what I want to really talk to you about. So if you're a health, wellness, fitness professional, whether you work on your own independently, you're your own boss, you're doing something side hustle, or it's the full business, or you work for somebody else and you're promoting yourself as a part of that, of working there. Because let's face it, if you're a personal trainer and you're working for Planet Hollywood, even, you still have to promote yourself because otherwise anybody walking in the door is fair game. You want them to come in and asking for you, right? So you've got to promote a little bit in order to get that to go on. But what you want to be thinking is, how are you creating these pillar pieces of content that you can use as the forefront? They're the piece or the source that you use to create your content. So maybe if you are going to be creating mobility videos for your your audience. You might have, if you had a website or if you had a YouTube channel, you might be starting a series, a playlist on a YouTube channel, or you might be writing an article that you embed a video in. So double, right, in there. And then those pearls of wisdom that come out of your mouth while you're coaching, you're going to pick a quote of yourself, right? So, and then maybe you place that quote there, or you're going to use one of the umpteen AI tricks, and you're going to take that long form video and do a little clip, 10 to 15 seconds, and you're going to post, something that shows a little bit of the exercise, talks about, you pointing to the athlete that you might be working with and how it's going to help and where you want their foot planted or don't, so that somebody is like, oh, wait a minute. I need that too. I gotta take a look at that. I've got a tight lower back. I've got a tight hips, and you're just like whetting somebody's appetite. But what I want you to think about is a bus, like a big yellow school bus comes to my mind. And think about the bus is the content. The bus is your podcast, if you have one. It's an article that you wrote for somebody else or for yourself that you want to drive people to, or it's your playlist on YouTube. And then you're pulling and extracting just little bits and pieces out of it to be on your social media. So your social media brings people back to your website or to that search engine. That'll work if you're doing YouTube instead. But you want them to go to your home base if at all possible. And by the way, if you're Hope's finishing up college, she's not quite ready yet, right? But she's gonna be. If you have a website because you're going to have a business, people will go check that out, even if your business is across the street. They'll go to your website to find out who are you. They'll go online and Google you. Like, what kind of a reputation do you have? Are you on LinkedIn? Are you like a real person? Isn't that odd? People are trying to find out if we're real people by going online to find out. Strange, but it's true. It's 2024, y'all. So we've got to think about, what are we doing? And you want to bring people back. And I say this with respect, but your website is where your cash register is. It's like people walking into a store. You wouldn't tell them, oh, yeah, they have that next door, right? I mean, you want them to check out at your store, not somebody else's. So you have a place for them most likely to buy programs at your house in your website. And that's where you'd want articles to be so that they get attracted. And when they like that article and they like consuming information and content that you write, they like your words, the way you describe it, they want more of that because I like your vibe. Somebody said that to me the other day. I just like your vibe. Okay, thank you.
The best compliment you could get nowadays.
It is, and it's probably somebody else doesn't, and that's okay too. Honestly, because you want to both attract the people you're going to work with really well, and you want to repel the people that you won't, that you would probably be driven crazy by, or that you would drive them crazy. We don't need any of that in our lives. So you really want to get the message out. And yes, respect to everybody, be polite to everybody, but you don't have to be everybody's person because there's lots of people in the world. But this is really an important distinction. Too much too soon, you go right to social media and you're just kind of vomiting or you're diarrheaing, onto social and randomly thinking, I got to come up with content, or I'm going to mimic that thing that I saw that was really cool. And sometimes that's okay. But most of the time you really want a strategy. So the exception to the rule is Hope right now. So we're going to have her create this unique, she's going to create an account. We're going to get her profile up to speed so that she's really targeting the people she'd work great with. And she's going to be doing research about how do I resonate? How do I start building a following? How do I start really getting people to engage with me so I know what they want? And in a way, she'll be creating social proof, whether she works with somebody in her hometown next door, or she works digitally coaching that way as well. And there's no reason she couldn't do both. But sometimes you do need to just put things out there and do research. So the 4 ways you do social media or use it, number one is research, finding out what resonates, what's getting a reaction, what's laying an egg, and don't do more of that, right? You kind of figure out real quick, okay, good. Now we can stop doing that. You're gaining social proof. So that's by growing your list, but do grow it with integrity. So every one of us probably knows on your DMs on the regular, somebody is saying, would you like to add 4,000 more followers to your site? Delete everybody because they're fake, they're false, and they'll actually end up hurting you. So here's how it works. If you have 4,000 people following you, but none of them are engaged, that hurts you more than having just 40 or 400 that are highly engaged. So just do it the real, organic, transparent way. Don't buy them. Don't buy them. Even if the promise is really good, they're marketers. It's supposed to sound really good. Doesn't mean it will work. Okay. So that's it. Research, social proof, marketing. So all things we put up there are marketing. So we're testing ideas. We're talking to them. We're thinking, what are they thinking? We're thinking, what are they feeling? How can we help them feel better about the possibilities, getting hope? Because if somebody is really down in the dumps and I've got an injury, I don't know that I can do what I love anymore, they may not be looking for solutions anymore. So part of what we're doing is potentially giving them the optimism that, oh, I didn't even know I could think about it that way. And there's something new that I've never tried before. So we might have to get their attention with a question that's like, hey, do you have a bad ankle and you think your days of running or performing really well are done? I thought the same thing, right? So there's the little things that you can do to pull them in. That's marketing. And last but not least, and we have to earn this, is selling. So we can sell, but we sell a very small fraction of the time, and we don't do it with like an advertisement, like a picture where we craft it on Canva and make it an ad. We posted like, I'm just sharing a tip. And if that resonated with you, you might also like this. And we're writing that in the text, the copy on the post. That's it. And say, you can go to my bio and click that link to learn more, or DM me the word, tell me more. And then if you have a very small following, you can still do that. Or you can use toys like ManyChat that actually will do that for you if they put certain words in your DM or in the comments. Automatically the link that you want will populate, so you're not having to do it. But when you have a really small audience, take advantage of the time to really interact and engage with people. So those little things are super gold. And then, Hope, are you familiar with analytics on social media?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
am.
Okay. Do you use them? Do you look at them regularly?
I do sometimes, but on my own, like personal kind of stuff, I feel like
Yeah.
sometimes as like a girl, like that can be deteriorating to mental health.
That
But
is
it's
such a
it's a
great
very
comment.
it's a really good thing for business and promoting your own brand. I will say that.
That is such a great comment. That was probably the mic drop for today, by the way. And here's what I want to tell all of you before you go to bed. Never, ever, ever read the comments. Have a VA, have someone else do this for you. And this is really important because what you and I will do is there's 47 things that are telling you, I love your program, love your program. And somebody's like, I hate your voice. Nobody should get that haircut. I have these things, promise you. People say these things. I'm like, mean girls, mean girls. Okay. You can't have any of this, but it is the things that sometimes there will be something that resonates with you. Like they actually pick something out that this wasn't my best work, and they said it out loud, that will bother you. Don't look at those. If you know, you know, but truth on that. But insights are really valuable. So your Instagram insights, your Facebook insights, your YouTube insights, if you don't know how to read them, I want to hear from you, especially if you're in our specialist or fitness marketing academy programs, because I'm going to teach you how to do that. It's really an important thing because it's telling you is what I'm doing. It's just like a customer. The habits that I'm doing right now are giving me the results I get right now. Is it going in the right direction? And because if it's not, we can tweak it. But if you don't know how to read it, you don't necessarily know what you're seeing. So I want to hear from you on this one. I'm going to keep it really, really short, but I want you to come over to the show notes on this one and read everything. And then we'll also link to this previous podcast. So don't miss it, because this is Hope and my co-producing here debut. So you've got a little series this summer, and we're going to come back for our next episode, which is going to be how I handle time management with multiple projects and team members. And this is one where I'm going to pull Hope in and get her input on this even more, because as an intern, she is having to do a lot of time management in a way that a lot of interns, if they're doing in person, don't have to do this. They just have to show up, which is not ideal. So often it's busy work that they're doing. Hope is getting the opportunity to really decide, do I work really well like this independently, planning my own time? And I do the same. And I show you kind of what my schedule is like and how I build my freedom and flexibility in a way that also I get a lot of shit done. So pardon my French, but that's the truth. So show notes for this one very short episode will be at fitnessmarketingmastery.com/content creation mistakes health professionals make, but not you, my friend. So what are you waiting for? The world needs you right now more than ever.